CPI data just came in, pegging us at about 7.5% over the last 12 months. Now, this is a higher amount than we were expecting. We were expecting about 7.3%, and this caused there to be a sell-off in crypto, a significant one. We were around 45,000. We're down below 44,000 now. Now, I want to talk about what this means, where the CPI data is leading us, what actually rose, talk about how this affects crypto, what's going to happen next, and talk about the other big news in the market. So if you guys don't mind hitting the subscribe button underneath the video, I really appreciate that. Now, like I said, we saw 7.5%. That was higher than expected. I've been talking to the Patreon group. Basically, if it comes in above, as we know, then it is negative. It's a negative thing for the stock and crypto market because it leads us to think that the Fed is more likely to raise rates or raise them more aggressively. Now, they're still kind of in a tight spot because of the fact that they are $30 trillion in debt themselves. And as they raise the rates, it causes them to have to pay more on that debt. There are some other different things too that cause them to not want to raise the rates too quickly. Part of it is the fact that a lot of people have their retirements locked up in the stock market and they don't want to crash the market. Now, that's not their main goal right now. Their main goal is to curb this inflation because it is stealing from some of the lower classes. For example, the food index rose 0.9% in January. That's a huge increase. 1% more in 1 month is a huge increase. Also, we did have used cars go up for another month. It went up about 1.5%. So new cars leveled off, but these used cars continue to rise. Now, when this came out, like we expected, there was a sell-off in crypto. We had been making a nice run since yesterday from about 43.8 or 43.7 all the way up to about 45.2, came back down, came back up, and then CPI data came out. I talked about yesterday how I wasn't really looking to buy anything right before this because it is basically the flip of a coin what happens. Now, I think from here, we consolidate, we hit the next floor. We're somewhere near where we have been recently, just yesterday, and then we bounce back. Long-term CPI coming in high isn't necessarily bad for crypto. It's bad for some people when they're trying to make plays on the economy, but it makes the use case for Bitcoin even stronger, right? We don't want to be inflated away with our dollars, which is why we put them in Bitcoin. So it is a short-term headwind, but long-term it is it's a nice thing to have happening if you're invested in Bitcoin because it really makes your case stronger for owning Bitcoin. Now, I have some other things that have happened over the last 24 hours in crypto that are really important and really impressive, a really big news that I want to cover. But before we do that, I do want to talk to you about FTX. So they're actually giving away a significant amount of crypto over the weekend. So if you didn't know, the Super Bowl is this weekend and they have a Super Bowl ad. And what they're doing is if you go follow them on Twitter, which you can see I just did, you can find out right when they post a tweet and when they have their commercial. So they have a commercial coming on in the Super Bowl. When that comes on, at that exact moment, they're giving away that amount of Bitcoin. So if it's 943, they're going to give 9.43 Bitcoin away. How you can take part in this, how you can actually win it, is you will see a pinned tweet. When that comes out, all you have to do is retweet it between then and midnight. So make sure that you do it within the next hour or two after that ad goes public, and then that tweet goes public, and then you can get some of that crypto. So definitely do that. You might be picked as a winner and make out a significant amount of Bitcoin. Now, there's a link to FTX underneath the video. I would definitely sign up so that way you're all set. They're one of the easiest and cheapest exchanges out there. So definitely check that out if you're interested and you want some of that free crypto. Now, we just got news about this. BlackRock planning to offer crypto trading. Sources say clients would be able to trade crypto through the firm's Aladdin investment platform, said one of the sources. So they are the largest asset manager out there, $10 trillion in assets under management. And they plan to enter the cryptocurrency space with client support trading and then with their own credit facility. So this is going to be through their Aladdin system, asset liability, debt, and derivative investment network. They have actually been hiring for a blockchain lead on this. They hired back in June. So that kind of tells you, okay, when all these large companies are hiring for these things, it might take 6, 7, 8 months before they even announce what they're going to do. These days, it's taken as known that the Wall Street banks and large financial institutions are edging into crypto, such as Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and we've seen that every single bank is going to get into this and has been getting into this. They also own 16% of MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy is pretty much just a play on crypto, and they already own a significant portion of it. A second person says that BlackRock was planning to get their hands on with outright crypto and was looking at providers in the space. So imagine that happens. Imagine BlackRock goes out and buys $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum or both. That would be huge. That would be just like KPMG, but probably even bigger because it is the largest asset manager in the world. That, I think, would send us really quickly to the next level in prices. It would send us skyrocketing in price pretty quickly. Also, we got news of Binance, which is taking a $200 million stake in Forbes. So this is the first step into a marketplace that has really high potential when it comes to adoption of Web3 based tools. I think this is really interesting. So when they break this down, they talk about how they're actually investing in it pre-SPAC. So this is like the, I forgot exactly what it's called because it's been a while since I've really looked into a lot of SPACs, but it's like the institutional side of the SPAC. Forgot exactly how they phrase it, but they are going to be half of the $400 million in commitments from the institutional investors, and then they're going to bring it to the people. So I think this is really interesting, not because I really like Forbes that much, but because of the fact that a 104-year-old magazine is going to a 5 or 10-year-old company, and that company can put out the money. They're the new wealthy businesses. They're the ones that are making the investments. And a lot of these companies have been getting large raises. Like a lot of the FTXs of the world, they've been raising a significant amount of money and going back and investing in some of the more traditional companies, and then the ones that are really well known, and then kind of gaining a power from that because they are really well known, but they don't really seem to have the best products right now, or they're not looking into the future as much. But if these companies can kind of get access to a lot of their users, that would be huge. There's a lot of margin in crypto right now for some of these companies. And then the last thing that I want to cover, Tennessee lawmaker introduces bill which would allow the state to invest in crypto. 2 bills introduced on February 2 propose that the state of Tennessee, as well as its counties and municipalities, are allowed to invest in crypto, as well as forming a committee aimed at studying crypto and blockchain. So this is really interesting. If these different counties, states could start investing in crypto, I think that would be a lot more likely than the bill that we saw a couple weeks ago for making Bitcoin legal tender in a state, because this actually makes sense. The other thing, being under the US government, I don't think would make too much sense, but these counties and states, they have their own money, they have their own treasuries, so I don't know why they wouldn't be able to do that, assuming that they say that it's an okay thing to invest in. So I think this would be pretty big news if certain states start buying a couple $1 million of crypto here and there. Of course, some people are going to be up in arms about it, but I think that, again, is more likely than what we talked about before with states making illegal tender. So overall, crypto market is falling down a decent amount right now, just because of the fact that the CPI data came out. But honestly, we're still up from where we were just a few days ago. So I wouldn't be too worried. I think this is going to be a short-term headwind, and I think we'll get through it. There's so much good news coming in all the time, so I wouldn't be worried. Just know that is what happened with CPI, and that's what's happening today. Thank you guys so much. Hit the subscribe button underneath the video, turn that bell notification, and check out FTX, and I will see you in the next video.